Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Izzo.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning, everybody. We start our show with a thriller last night in Bismarck. That from Wyatt Knutson to give West Fargo the lead. They would fend off a game-winning attempt from Legacy, and the Packers are moving on to the state semifinals later tonight. The lone East representative to send on the boys' side. And with that, we start our show here on a Friday morning, the 13th day of March, 2026. It's a red letter day. I'm going to get it out of the way right now. It is my birthday today. We're here doing the show. We got a fun one here. It's Friday the 13th, so everything that comes with that, which will be entertaining to no end as we start our show on a big Basketball Friday. A lot to get to today, so glad you're spending part of your day with us. A lot to unpack. We'll get to everything that went down in Bismarck yesterday in just a moment. The West had the day. We thought that may be the case heading into it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the show. That certainly bore out. The three teams on the West won on the boys' side, and it was that close to a clean sweep. If that shot goes down for Legacy, then we got 4 West winners, which we haven't had that happen, and I'd say about a decade. I can remember there was a time where the West routinely dominated this event, and they are primed to get an all-West final tomorrow night. And on the girls' side, same thing happened there. The Davies girls are the lone representative playing today after Mandan knocked off the defending champions from Horace. Minot won by $1 billion yesterday in its opener, and then Century took care of business in its game with Shanley. So that is the state of affairs out in Bismarck, which we'll show you the highlights from that in just a little bit. It's a busy night tonight. I mean, we got a lot going on. We've got Minnesota Section Championship basketball happening. We got 2 games over at Concordia tonight. I'll be over there to call those games for the 6A and the 8AA championships. We'll preview that coming up later on in our show. We've got Minnesota State semifinal night in Class A and 2A. We've got a couple teams there. The Hillcrest Lutheran girls won yesterday, so they're playing today at noon in the first semifinal down in Minneapolis. The Perham girls, we previewed them yesterday. Congrats to them. They've got the reward is Providence Academy and Madden Greenway, the all-time leading scorer in Minnesota State history. That's their reward coming up tonight. So I have no shortage of things to discuss on our show. The Vikings have a new quarterback, which you'll hear from Kyler Murray coming up later on in our show. We'll dive into that. And what that means. I think it's pretty clear what it means, at least to me. Maybe the Vikings aren't going to be as frontal as I will be about it, but I think it's the end of J.J. McCarthy, personally. We'll dive into that coming up later on in the show as well. It's selection show weekend. We have not had to care about this for 7 years here in Fargo-Moorhead. It's a big deal on Sunday at 5 o'clock. The selection show will air on CBS. NDSU is going to have a watch party. We'll be up there live to cover that, and then we're back here on Monday. We'll know who the Bison are playing. We're going to know where they're playing. We're going to know when they're playing. We don't know any of that right now. Same for the Bison women. We will know all of that as well, and we'll give you an up-to-date bracketology look coming up later on in the show. So, a lot to unpack here on a busy Friday. Let's start, though, with the boys' side of things yesterday out in Bismarck in the 2A tournament. We showed you West Fargo's thrilling win over Legacy. There was nothing thrilling about the Bismarck and Davies matchup because this was all demons. We had Jordan Wilhelm on the show yesterday, the head coach of Bismarck, They have not been able to get through this opening round. That was not the case yesterday. Kalik Austin knocks down the big three. Bismarck cruises a 90-73 win over Davies. Cheyenne and Dickinson played the second game where the Mavericks built a 20-point lead. Mustangs actually got this down to a 7-point game in the second half, but Dickinson just had too many answers. They hang on for a 76-56 win. Boston Cranston was great. He had 20 for Dickinson. The late game was a dandy between Horace and Century. Carter Evanson, the turnaround shot was great. If you don't know the name Gibson Kinnebrew, you're going to know him by the end of the weekend. One of the top players in North Dakota for the class of 2027 there in and one. The drive and the finish there. Century wins it 71-65 over Horace. And they are moving on to the semifinals. So, here's the updated bracket after last night's games. Tonight on WDAY at 6:30, you'll have Bismarck against Dickinson. Winner gets a spot in the state championship game. It has been an eternity for either one of those teams. I mentioned Bismarck hasn't won a state championship in 16 years. Dickinson, it's been a heck of a lot longer. They had teams when Anand Moody was playing, when Jordan Meininger were playing. They made the state tournament back-to-back years, but did not win in the opening round. They did in 2017, I want to say. That might be the last time they won a state tournament game. And now they're playing in the semifinals. The late game tonight, West Fargo and Bismarck Century. Boy, there is some history between those two teams. That'll tip about 8:15 tonight in round number 2 in the semifinals there. Just looking back, Dickinson last won a state championship in 2007 in boys basketball. As I mentioned, Bismarck last title was 2010. One of those is going to have a chance to play for a state championship. Century, we know, is the reigning champions. West Fargo, they like playing out in Bismarck. They won the title in 2021. Adam Palczewski's team, they beat Minot that year to win the championship. And the way they got through yesterday, bit of a thriller there with their victory over Bismarck Legacy to get to the title game. So that's the Final Four on the boys' side. There's certainly talent, high-flying talent on that Bismarck team. That Bismarck-Dickinson game has the potential to be a 90-87 kind of game to me. That would not surprise me whatsoever. All right, I had to look this up. Oh, that's the wrong class. I think we got 3 classes now. It's all of when the last time Dickinson was in the state championship game. That's championships by team. How about, here we go. Title game appearances. Dickinson was 07. So, okay, it's been a bit since when they won it in 2007. So nearly 20 years for the Mavericks since they appeared in a state championship game. For Bismarck, their last title game appearance, 2013. That was here at the Fargo Dome. I believe they lost to Shanley that night? Question mark? Yes, it was Shanley who beat them with A.J. Jacobson. That was a heck of a game as well. So that is what's at stake for those two teams. Whoever wins that first game, you're ending a long drought to get to the state championship game. Meanwhile, on the girls' side, we mentioned it off the top. It was a dynamite day for the West. How impressive? Well, if you missed the first game of the day between Minot and Red River, if you checked in at like 1:30, the game was over because Minot didn't mess around. This is a team, you remember, in 2022 with Maggie Fricky and Lily Bell as 8th graders. They won this thing. Well, Bell and Fricky were great. You missed the Fricky 3. That's a Bell 3. Minot beat Red River by 50 yesterday. Who they're going to get? The Mandan Braves. They knocked off West Fargo Horace, the reigning state champs, who were down 4. Lake and Donnelly got the Hawks tied in this game, but every time Horace had a basket, Mandan responded. The Braves knock off the champs by 10. They'll get Minot in the first semifinal. In the evening session, Davies taking on Bismarck Legacy. The Eagles, who, of course, won the EDC championship last weekend, Fallon Passanante had some huge baskets down the stretch. They got Quinn Scari to hit a few big shots as well. Davies moves on. They beat Legacy by 4. Who they're going to get? Between the winner of Shanley and Century. Riley Sievert was doing her thing early on for the Deacons, but Century has got a dynamic young combo between Kinley Thornton and Kaylee Wellstad. Wellstad are both freshmen. Century wins it by 17 over Shanley. So here are the semifinal brackets. These games you'll see this afternoon on WDAY. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock from Bismarck with Minot and Mandan facing each other. The Majets, they have been in this semifinal round the last couple of years and have not been able to advance. Last year, got beaten this round. We'll see if they can make it to the title game. And they would play the winner of Davies and Century. Now, Davies won the championship out in Bismarck in 2024. Their first girls basketball title. They're going to have to get by a really talented Century team. And for those eagle-eyed viewers, if you're looking, hey, who has the potential to play at the next level? Century's got 2 ninth graders that already have offers from Summit League schools. Thornton has an offer from North Dakota State. Wellstead has offers from NDSU and South Dakota. That'll be coming up in the second game about 3 o'clock this afternoon out in Bismarck. So that's what went down yesterday out in the capital city. A couple of competitive games, but other than that, it was a lot of one-sided basketball yesterday. I think it reaffirmed what we had seen throughout the year and following the top level in North Dakota. The West had the stronger teams. And I know it comes down to matchups as well, and sometimes it gets kind of screwy when you have a team like Horace who had dominated throughout the regular season on the boys' side, and then they get beat in a semifinal game by Cheyenne, that they get forced into a state qualifier game that maybe that's not, and I think Zach Dosh said it to start the show, or start the broadcast yesterday with Sam, that a month ago, I think many of us thought Horace and Century could have been a state championship game preview. It ends up being a first-round game last night. That being said, you still got to go out and win it. Century did. No surprise that a Darren Mattern team would grind out a win, because that's exactly what happened last night. So that's our Final Four. That's on tap coming up later tonight and this afternoon from the Event Center out in Bismarck. Real quick before we set up the show, congratulations are in order to the teams in Class A and Class B that won yesterday their region championships. We had the region championship games here. We had on WDAY Plus from the Shack last night. Central Cass got a win over Oak Grove, so the Squirrels are going back to state. Of course, they won it the final Class B championship a few years ago. They are heading back there. The other champs to cross in Class A, Devil's Lake, the Firebirds, who won it in 2024, lost it on a buzzer beater last year. They will be back at the Dome next week. They beat Crafton by 23. Dunseith is going to the state tournament. How about that? 66-61 win over Turtle Mountain. They'll be there. And Shiloh Christian is back. They have been routinely at the state tournament. Doesn't matter what class. Skyhawks beat Beulah yesterday. So those are the winners in Class A that automatically made it to the state tournament. Yesterday in Class B, you had the following teams make it yesterday. Congratulations to Medina Pingree Buchanan. They are the Class B Region 1 champs. They won it in Valley City last night. So they'll be going to Minot next week. Joining them will be Midway Minto. I got a text message from my guy Mike Scogan. First time ever, I believe, that Midway has ever made it to the state tournament. I believe Minto had been before, but they are going to state. They beat Nelson County last night. So a big congratulations to our friends there at Midway Minto. Also a shout-out to the Ray Jays. I got a text message as well from Michael Bergstrom, the head coach, who's, I believe, in capital letters. Let me read the text message I got last night. I'm ready to be on your show again. Ray Jays are going to state, so we'll have him on next week. Congratulations to Ray. They beat our Redeemers 57-54 out in Newtown. They've got a dynamite team. I'm excited to see them play at the Minot State Dome next week. And then in Region 4, Central McLean will be heading to state. They beat Wilton Wing 73-58. We know Wilton Wing had the great story last year. Now they've got to play in a state qualifier game coming up tomorrow. So those are the teams that are there. Now, for the ones that lost last night, all hope is not lost. They have the nervousness of playing in a state qualifier game tomorrow. We've got 4 of those games at the Shack. We'll have all of them for you tomorrow on WDAY+. We're excited to bring those to you. The other 4 games are out west. And then we'll know the fields for the A and the B to wrap up the winter tournament season. The Class A tournament next week is at the Fargo Dome. The Class B back in Minot, which will be thrilling out there. So that is all that going on here over the last couple of hours here. It's been a busy time and looking forward to another busy day here on this Friday. With that, let's set up our guest lineup here on this Friday morning, brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Matt Veit will join us, the girls basketball head coach of the Davies Eagles. They are the lone standing East representative. They'll play later today. Got a big matchup with Bismarck Central. We'll preview that with Matt coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, Randy Misegades will join us, the head coach of the Henning Hornets. They are unbeaten. They will play tonight against Park Christian over at Concordia for a spot at the state tournament. They have been number 1 ranked in Class A boys in Minnesota all year long. They take an unbeaten record into the section championship game tonight. We'll have that game for you on WDAY2 later tonight. We'll preview that at 10. And at 10:35, as I mentioned, it is my birthday. The lone member of my immediate family who's not been on the show. My sis has been on. Everybody knows my dad. My mom has never made it. I figured what better day, the day that she became a mom, is today, 47 years ago today, to have her on the program. So she will wrap up our show. I'm going to try and make sure I don't well up too much at 10:35 to wrap up our show and our week. So fun way to wrap things up on a Friday. So that's what we got planned. Busy next hour and 40 minutes or so. Your texts, your emails are welcome. We already got a couple coming in. We anticipate much more throughout the show. So with that, we'll take our first break. We come back. I mentioned it. The Vikes have a new quarterback. You'll hear from Kyler Murray about his lifelong fandom of the Vikings. Hot Mike is back after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com after this. Welcome back, everybody. A reminder, if you're looking for the State 2A tournament, our coverage begins today at 1 o'clock statewide on your ABC station. I don't want to hear you can't find the game. I don't want to hear you have to pay for it. You can watch it. It's my birthday. I can say what I want to. You can watch it free over the air on your ABC station. If you're in Dickinson, you can find us on KBMY. If you're in Minot, you can find us on KMCY. If you're in Grand Forks, on WDAZ. And, of course, here in the Fargo Metro on WDAY. One of our crown jewels is today. 4 games today. Coverage begins 1 o'clock with the girls' semifinals. I got an early birthday present last night from the National Football League. Not directly, but the Tennessee Titans decided to announce, for some reason, when it's the middle of March Madness and we're talking everything going on with basketball, the NFL, of course, they don't really care because they'll budget anything. They decided to announce their new uniforms. And here they are. Now, this is obviously a throwback to the Houston Oilers, which we all miss. And if you're born after 1996, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So go ahead and Google what the Houston Oilers used to look like, because this is it. Now, I got to say, it's a 1,000% improvement from what the Titans had, because the Titans had, I think, the worst jerseys in the NFL. Now, the helmets I still will have umbrage with. This uniform combo, though, the white tops with the powder blue pants, that's tremendous. Tremendous. I really like the uniform as well with the number, with the red outline over the powder blue. Yeah, that's 1,000% improvement. 1,000%. Now, the helmet, could they have done powder blue helmet? Could we have done that? I think that would have been like the chef's kiss after that if they would have decided to go that way. But be that as it may, from what they had, go look. Like the Titans, they're terrible. Like only the Texans probably had the worst uniform combo. And only when Houston wore like they're all red, that was a moderate improvement. This is, again, powder blue is a winning combo. Think of all the teams locally around here that do it. Richland, my friends down in Colfax, they have the powder blue. It's sensational. Anybody that subscribes to that, it's a winning uniform combo. So the Titans will be wearing that. Now I got to look to see. I'm not a great Tennessee Titans mind. Who is outside of John Stabler? Lydia's husband is the only Titans fan I know. Let's see. I don't even know who they play this year. If we'll see these uniforms. The Titans. Oh, they play the Jets. That's a heck of a matchup. The Jets go to Nashville. NFC teams, they play Dallas. They play the Giants. They play the Lions. So they're not going to see them here because they don't play the NFC North this year. That's your only chance. Speaking of the NFC North, the quarterbacks now in that division, you have Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears, Jordan Love, obviously the Packers, Jared Goff of the Lions, and of the Minnesota Vikings, is it now Kyler Murray? Became official yesterday at about 4:30 that the Vikings had signed the former number 1 overall pick to a 1-year deal as he will join the team for this upcoming season. He was released by the Cardinals on Wednesday. Offset language in Murray's Cardinals contract requires Arizona to pay most of the remaining $36 million salary they owe him, allowing the Vikings to sign him to a 1-year deal for the veteran's minimum of $1.3 million. It's a no-brainer on why the Vikings do this because they don't have to pay him. Since the negotiating period opened on Monday, the Vikings have only signed 2 free agents, Murray and cornerback James Pierre. We knew the Vikes didn't have much money to work with. Had allocated some different funds with the T.J. Hawkinson deal. They restructured that. But now they have signed Murray. His first 3 years, he's the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2019. Threw for 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 picks. He ran for another 4 touchdowns. It's not like he's had chumps to throw the ball to either. He played with Larry Fitzgerald to start his career. He's had Marvin Harrison Jr., which seems like the massive waste that they haven't been able to connect there. He's had Trey McBride, who's been the best tight end, I think, in the NFL over the last couple of years. He had DeAndre Hopkins out there. I mean, the weapons that they've had have been tremendous. This is off-schedule playmaker, according to the Star Tribune. This is where the elusive 5'10" Murray has excelled, which the Vikings saw firsthand in 2021. I think that was the game where the Vikings missed a field goal at the end of the game to win. He spun away from an unblocked Vikings pass rusher and flicked a 40-yard pass to the late Rondell Moore for a 77-yard touchdown during a Week 2 game. Murray's legs are a critical component to his game. Only the Ravens' Lamar Jackson and the Eagles' Jalen Hurts have played more games and averaged more rushing yards than Murray's 36.7-yard average since 2019. He had a Zoom press conference yesterday. Here's a couple of snippets of what he had to say.
I want to thank God. I want to thank the Wilt family. I want to thank Rob. I want to thank Coach O'Connell for giving me this great opportunity. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to touch the field as a Minnesota Viking. It's a great day for me and my family. And again, I want to say I cannot wait to be touch that field and be a Minnesota Viking.
How far back does your Vikings fandom or your knowledge or interest in this organization go?
Thank you. Ever since I started playing tackle football, I was 7 years old. Genuine fandom. Ran deep, Vikings gear through and through. A lot of purple in my household. I don't want to bring it up right now, but maybe later another day. It was a moment. I'll bring it up anyways. Whatever. I cried real tears whenever whenever Brett threw that interception, I cried real tears that day.
Wow. Now that is old school. Now, you remember Kyler Murray could have gone and played baseball. He was a top 10 baseball pick by the then Oakland A's. And it only was late in that draft process that it blew up that, remember, he went to the combine and he excelled there, and then it ended up, because I think after his senior season of football that everybody thought, well, all right, he's going to go play baseball and we'll see about the football thing. And then it flipped where he was excelled there, and he was told he was going to be the number one pick. The Cardinals were going to take him, and obviously football became the destination. To hear that he cried actual tears up to the 2009 NFC Championship game, I'm sure will tug at the heartstrings of every fan of the Purple. Now, what does this mean on the field? As I said earlier, I think this is the end of J.J. McCarthy. I do. I know it's a one-year prove-it deal, but they did the same thing with Sam Darnold. And if O'Connell can get anything out of Kyler Murray, similar to what they got out of Sam Darnold, that means that they're moving on from McCarthy as the 10th overall pick of the draft a couple of years ago. The writing is on the wall here. I see this as a quarterback competition. It has to be that, right? You don't sign a guy like this and have him be the backup, right? That doesn't make sense. Now, maybe this pushes McCarthy, and he's great in the offseason. And all that stuff's not going to matter. It's only going to matter week one after Labor Day, whoever the Vikes have, and who's the starter. I mean, those preseason games suddenly, are we going to take a whole lot out of that? I don't know. I think we did last year. I don't think J.J. played nearly enough in the preseason last year. And what we saw in the regular season wasn't enough between him not staying healthy and the fact that he kept throwing the ball to the wrong team. I think this means that Kyler Murray's their guy, which is crazy to say that out loud. Fascinating to see as the offseason now firmly begins for the Minnesota Vikings. They'll have their OTAs beginning in the next month or so, and then it's on to minicamp, and then before you know it, we're in training camp, and we're talking about an Egan in the middle of July when this whole experiment gets going. But it became official yesterday, the Vikes with Kyler Murray. That's the first part. Now you got to nail the draft. Now you got to go into the NFL draft with Rob Brzezinski leading the way, and maybe he's the guy who's going to be the GM, you got to kill it there. You got to find two starters. You just do. The Vikes have been unable to do that over the last handful of years with Kwesi running things. The draft has been miserable. They've got to find a couple guys to start in late April. Going to be fascinating to see. Let's break. We'll do our birthday wishes, my birthday wishes, coming up later on in the show. But after this commercial break, we come back. We'll head out to Bismarck, visit with Davies girls basketball head coach Matt Veit as the Eagles get set for a semifinal matchup coming up later today with Bismarck Century. That's coming up on the other side of the break. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. This is the updated 2A girls basketball bracket. Coverage begins on WDAY at 1 o'clock with Minot and Mandan. It'll be followed by Davies in Century in the second game. The Eagles, who, of course, won the state title out in Bismarck 2 years ago, will have their hands full today with a really good Patriots team. It's great to have Davies girls basketball coach Matt Veit join us on a day where it's my birthday today. How old am I? I covered this guy when he was playing for Davies High School, making threes all the time at the event center in Bismarck, and now he's coaching. So again, another reminder of how old I am. It's great to see you, bud. How are you?
Happy birthday.
I appreciate that.
I remember you covered me. I think the first time I came on the show, you were talking to me as a little high schooler. You were asking me what was for breakfast or something like that. So I still remember that. I still remember being nervous as all get out. So but happy birthday.
I appreciate that, man. And it's great to see you having so much success. We were just visiting off air about how yesterday went. I think as a viewer watching it, I don't know if we were that surprised the West won 3 of 4. You were in it. Was that surprising to you at all, or is that maybe what you expected yesterday?
Well, I think, the first thing when you get into March, any time you play a basketball game in March at any level, you're not really surprised at anything that can happen. But I think, all 4 east of us coaches, just in the east, Shanley, Horace, Red River, myself, we all knew that the West was really, really good. We all knew that they're extremely physical, they're athletic, they're deep. All those teams can shoot. They all present little mismatches and how you have to cover up. So not surprised with anything that happens in March, but you got a ton of respect for everyone out West and the experienced coaching staffs that they have. So
it was a grinder for your guys yesterday. Describe getting that win and just going right down to the wire to pick up a 4-point win over Legacy as you guys did yesterday.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us, our maturity showed. Legacy went out. Falcon hit some shots early, and then they had some other kids hit some shots early. And I think we were down 7 or 8 at one point in that game. But our kids didn't, they stayed calm. They didn't panic. We've had a lot of kids that have been in state tournaments before, whether it's basketball, whether it's, other sports. So we stayed even keel. And I think, towards the end of that game, we got up in the second half about 10, and then they made some shots and went on a run again. Where I think, sometimes a younger team or an experienced team, where the head gets spinning a little bit, we were able to kind of stay calm and focused and made some big plays at the end.
To grind it out the way you did, and especially perform at the end, how big a deal is that going? Now you got to come right back and play the day that you had a win like that, like you did yesterday.
Well, I mean, it's certainly, and I think we were able to do that in our EDC championship game against Horace, of just being able to make shots, make big plays down the stretch, make mistakes down the stretch, which we did in both games, Legacy and Horace, but then not compile those mistakes. But we've talked to our kids kind of all year about, people say the 24-hour rule or whatever, where our kids now, it's like, okay, whatever happened yesterday or in the past is done. You got to be where your feet are. You got to take what we did well, how can we continue to do it, and what we have to get better at in a short little turn here and look to, clean those things up.
So everyone, I think, knows about Fallon, but Quinn Scary, I love watching play. Tell me what she does so valuable for your team.
Quinn is, obviously Fallon is, spectacular. Quinn is, she's amazing. She's a four-year varsity athlete in 3 sports, volleyball, basketball, soccer. In my opinion, she could go play college sports in whichever one. Her playing all those sports, her just sport IQ in general, you can see it when she's playing volleyball, you can see it when she's playing basketball, you can see it. She's probably one of, if not one of the smartest kids in the state just on the floor. Coaches always talk about having a point guard as a coaching staff extension on the floor. Now she plays point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center for us, depending on when we're playing. So she's not really that point guard, but she kind of is that. And her IQ on the floor is just, what separates her from others.
To have that and combine that with Fallon, how difficult is that as a combo to try and stop?
I'm glad they're on, our team. They're kind of just, and, we've had some nights where, one of them's going off and we're feeding one of them, or sometimes the other one's going off. And then, credit to all our other kids when teams do a good job of taking both of them away. We've had other kids like Sierra Ranke, Carter Ford, Nazareth, them being able to step up and make shots. So it creates matchup problems for teams. I think I've been proud of kind of Quinn and Fallon's developments over, when they were sophomores, they had, Ash Fransky, Carly Franks. And then when they were juniors, it's like, okay, now you get bumped up to the top of everyone's scouting report. So, there was a learning curve there for them. And then now they're kind of just experienced and great leaders for us. I think both Fallon and Quinn, you talk about scoring, but they both had 10 assist night where they're kind of triple double hunting. Fallon was able to get one against Fargo North earlier this year. Quinn's been close. So just all assets and facets of their game, they can play well. So you lost late February against Horace. What, if anything, changed? Because obviously you got payback against them last week at the EDC title game, but is anything physically or mentally changed with your team after that game with Horace in the middle of February? I think the adjustment for us was a lot mentally. In that game, we were up, I think, 16 points at half. I think that's what it was. And then Lake and Donnelly and Jordan Christopherson were Lake and Donnelly and Jordan Christopherson, and they made a bunch of shots. And you could just tell, mentally during that run. I think we called a timeout when we were up 8, and you would have thought we were down 15. So like we really attacked the mental side of the game there and how you respond in those moments, because once you get to this part of the year, like everyone's going to go on runs and everyone's going to make shots. Like everybody is good now. And I think, you saw it yesterday when Legacy goes on the run right away, where we're down 8 in the middle of the first half. Our kids, they're not freaking out. They stay poised. They're not panicking. And I think, for that was the biggest kind of learning curve or change that I've been most impressed with the group this season.
All right, so now it's Century, and we were visiting off air about, full well what you face in the East and Lake and Donnelly and how long she's been playing. Well, now you got 2 freshman standouts for the Patriots that you're going to see today with Wellstat and Thornton. What kind of challenge is this that presents itself today?
It's a huge challenge. You look at them and it's kind of the same thing with, you talk about like a kid like Lake and it's like, oh, this kid's a freshman or this kid's a sophomore. And it's like, they're not playing like freshmen and sophomore out there. They are fit for the moment. They have all the skill and capability in the world. They do a great job of looking to get downhill and penetrating. We're going to have to try to keep everything in front of us. We're going to have to play solid team defense. Luckily for us, those 2 kids are in the West and not in the East. But it's going to be a challenge for us tonight. And they're just 2 great players. I love the way they play. They're obviously well coached, with Wellstead being the coach over there. And yeah.
Do your here? I'm going to throw back here. Do your players know that you played and you were pretty darn good? Are they aware of that?
There's been some funny story. I think some knew that I played. I think it might have been like Carter Ford. I think she knew that I played, but I think this year she came up to me at one point and she said, like, I thought you were horrible. Like she thought I was just like a end of the bench
just a
guy.
Scrub. Yeah.
And like we have like the record boards hanging up in our gym or whatever. And like our kids, I mean, I don't talk about stuff at all or any of that, but like they'll go and look at it and they'll be like, since when are you like on this board? And I was like, I'm up there. I'm just glad that Bart never put career leading turnovers, because I probably have the most turnovers in school history to go to. So I'm glad that one isn't just up on the board, because I would probably be up there.
We have the video here. I can send it to you so you can show them, one day if you want to just brag like, hey, I could play. I made some shots. So if you need it, you just let me know. All right.
Well, I'll do that. I think the one thing I tell people though is like I was about 200 pounds, so I was like me and Andy Bear, our other guard. We were both like 200 pounds, so we were just too. Andy Bear was jacked. He was physical. He was strong. I was more so just chubby, but I was still as fast as everyone. So I was just this chubby 200-pound kid who was as fast as everyone. So that's what I had going for me. Other than that, I didn't have much.
How much did you enjoy playing out there? I know you like playing here in the Dome, but how much being out there in that building did you really like playing out there?
There's so many memories that I have in this building, like good memories, obviously like heartbreaking memories. Like it's got like an aura about it. Yeah. The Civic Center, the history about it. The fact that, every year you have different teams, but you come back to the same place and everybody has their stories about playing there. It's an awesome venue. Even like we played our first round game in the exhibition hall in the back area right here. Yeah. I'm sitting right outside of it right now, but like that's a great venue too. It's tight, it's compact, it's in the conference center, and the atmosphere is great in there. So it's just a lot of fun.
How much did you learn? I mean this seriously, with coaching with Bart, and how much do you apply that on a day-to-day basis?
A ton. Yeah. I mean, I think, me as like a young coach, and I still like try to do it when he's, I'm not in practice with them every day, but watching him on the sideline, like I wanted to be like just a sponge and try to soak up when I was on his staff, when Gino was there, when I was a player, just taking in and being a sponge about how they just go and operate and go about, their business. Yeah. And I think we've talked about it, on here before, just what it really means to be a competitor. Like the Mansons are the most competitive family you will ever meet in your life. And, they do that in a way of you want to be more competitive. And I think over the last 10-year run of Manson's teams in the Davies boys basketball program, where he gets kids to fall in love with the process of getting better and being competitive like that. I'm a prime example of I wouldn't have been as good of a basketball player if he's not my head coach, so I just try to soak it all up
That's really well said. I was joking with Jordan Wilhelm yesterday. He's not wearing suits anymore. Like, I know it's over now. If Bart's not wearing a full suit, then it's donezo, right?
It's wild. I was the first time. There's been like rumors about it for the past couple years. And then like he would show, there would be a couple like away, like non-conference, like road games.
Okay.
Like, he'd wear like travel gear. And it's like, okay, not a suit. That's fine. But the first home game he showed up and he wasn't in a suit. I was like, what is going on here? Like the world must be ending. So it was the first time I've not seen him in a suit and tie for a home game this year. But I guess when you have 500 wins, you can pretty much do what you want.
Right?
You can do whatever you want.
Lastly, before I let you go, I know it's a big day for your team coach, and I know for your alma mater as well. The Concordia women are in the Sweet 16. That's a big deal for Kim Wager's team later today, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. And obviously Coach Wingenbach being over there at the assistant Old Cheyenne coach, they're having a tremendous year. It's so fun to go watch them. And we have a PE teacher at Davies, Allison Fisher, who's on that staff as well. She played at South. And like just kind of staying in tune with them. We got Safransky and Wielden over there, Davies alum. We're pulling for them. We've been fun. We got to go watch a couple of their games this year, and they're really good. So best of luck to them, and roll Cobbs.
Great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck today, and appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate you, Dom. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. There he goes. Matt Veit joining us, Fargo Davies girls basketball head coach. The Eagles have a matchup coming up later today against Bismarck Century. It's the second game of our doubleheader. First game at 1 o'clock with Minot and Mandan, and then the Eagles and Patriots to follow. Those games live on WDAY. We'll take our final break here to wrap up hour number 1. Randy Misegades is going to join us from Henning coming up in our second hour. Lots more still to come on this Friday edition of Hot Mic, which is back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Live look inside the event center out in Bismarck, getting ready for day 2. First tip at 1 o'clock for the semifinals coming up later today. We appreciate Matt coming on. Good stuff there as the Eagles get ready for a matchup with Century. Let's get a couple of emails, comments back in. Dom, I appreciate you bringing up Central McLean on your show, but they're not being talked about enough. Ran through the regular season undefeated, only boys team to do so in the state, period. They beat our Redeemers on their court, Ray and Midway Minto. They will be the number 1 seed when the bracket comes out tomorrow evening after they fill out the other state qualifiers. They've had a great year. My hope is we get Coach Anderson on the show next week to chat about what they've done and high expectations for that team going into Minot next week. But think of that. I mean, kudos to Central McLean. They played 3 other teams that are going to be there at state, which is fantastic. I love that about the Class B, that those teams routinely go out there and schedule difficult teams. Colleges can learn more about that because it's ridiculous to see what's happening at that level. Appreciate that. Another email. Dom, give us an update on the Bison bracketology situation. Sure. I was going to do that later. We can do that now. We got a couple minutes. The latest from ESPN on the women. This was updated this morning that the Bison women are still on the first 4 outline. BYU, Utah, North Dakota State, and Texas A&M are ranked as the first 4 teams out of the tournament. If that holds, NDSU will have an automatic bid to the WBIT, and they would host a game next week in Fargo. If that ends up being the case. This is just a prediction. It's not what the committee is thinking or doing, but that's what ESPN has it projected as right now. Meanwhile, on the men's side, and this has been updated after the chaos yesterday. Actually, we had a pretty tame championship week up until yesterday. Miami of Ohio lost. They were the last unbeaten team in the nation out of the Mid-American Conference, out of the MAC, and they lost in the first round of their conference tournament. So there's a bunch of, I'm going to say, garbage going to be discussed over the next couple days about if they're worthy to be in. They were 31-0. They're in the tournament. Now, they may be an 11 seed and going to Dayton would actually may not be the worst thing ever. If you want to care about the games in Dayton, if you're the NCAA tournament, put Miami there. That's right down the road from those games. Because routinely, I mean, do people watch the games on Tuesday and Wednesday at the NCAA? That's the annual deal. And we'll do it next week when people make fun of True TV, because it's the first time all year that people watch True TV is the games that are on from the first four. That being said, the Bison have a new opponent and a new location in ESPN's bracketology. I think it's probably a foregone conclusion now. The Bison are going to be a 14 seed. The latest 13 seeds, Northern Iowa got bumped down after Miami's loss. Northern Iowa won the Mo Valley. Sam Houston is a 13 seed. Sam Houston is winning Conference USA. The other 13's Utah Valley. Now there's a whole junk with Utah Valley and the WAC. They're leaving to go to the Big West next year. It's a mess there. They're a 13. They were getting sued. They may not be able to play in their tournament. And Hofstra won the CAA. They're already in the tournament as a 13. So the Bison right now are a 14 seed in St. Louis facing Illinois out of the Big Ten Conference. Let's go. Bison don't get to play anybody out of the Big Ten anymore. When's the last Big Ten team they played? Ooh, just thinking off the top of my head, it's been a bit. Gosh, has it been Ohio State? Ohio State was like 12 years ago when they played, and that was the last, it was a tournament team, 2013-14, they played Ohio State. I'd have to look a little closer here, but they haven't played the Gophers. They haven't played any of the top ones, like Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan. They haven't played any of them. They haven't played Wisconsin since they beat them in 2006. I mean, I'm not counting into the new ones because they played Oregon like 2010, 2011. It might be Ohio State. So if this ends up being they haven't played Northwestern or Maryland or Rutgers. They played Rutgers long before Rutgers was still in the Big East when they played Rutgers. I can't think of anybody else in that league. So that would be the case if it ends up coming to fruition. We'll see. Sunday night, 5 o'clock. We'll have coverage of that over the weekend on WDAY. Let's break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. We'll get you ready for the 6A championship game tonight. The Henning Hornets prime for a trip to state. Head coach Randy Misegades will join us when we start hour 2 after this.
This is Hot Mike on the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll here on this Friday morning. A reminder, tonight, we've got Minnesota section basketball going on at Concordia. We'll start our coverage on WDAY2 with the 6A championship game. The Henning Hornets against the Park Christian Falcons. Winner goes to the state tournament in Minneapolis in 10 days' time. Remember, the Minnesota boys basketball tournament has a little bit of time off because of the NCAA tournament coming to Williams Arena next week for the Gopher women. Will be followed by the 8AA title game between Perham and Staples Motley. That'll start about 8 o'clock from inside Memorial Auditorium on the campus of Concordia. It'll be a great night of hoops. It should be a packed house. We're looking forward to 2 great games. Henning trying to repeat in 6A. Perham has not been to state since 2022. Staples hasn't been in over 15 years. It's been a long time for the Cardinals, so we're looking forward to those games coming up later tonight. We mentioned about the Henning Hornets. They are unbeaten on this season. They've been ranked number 1 in Class A nearly this entire year. They have maybe the target on their back. We'll see. Head coach Randy Misegades joins us here on this Friday morning. I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me, Coach? You got me?
I got you now.
We got you.
It was
there we
on
go.
my end, Dom. That was my mistake.
No
Sorry.
worries, bud. It's great to see you. Well, here it is. It's section championship night. This is what you've been working for all year. What's the emotions? Is it another game day today?
It's you try to treat it like that, but no matter how much you tell yourself it's another game day, it's not, and the kids know that, and the community and the school are kind of buzzing. So try to keep those emotions a little bit even keeled, but obviously excited to play tonight.
Is there going to be anybody left in town? Because I saw everybody was at Perham on Wednesday night. It certainly seemed.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's going to be many people left. Wednesday night in Perham, we played there a lot, and that was the biggest crowd I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I'm sure it had something to do with we were the first game, and then you had the Pelican and Park Christian people filter in.
Yep.
But as our game was, midway through that second half, all the corners were full of people standing, and then all around the track on top, people standing along the rails. So it was a super fun atmosphere, and we enjoy playing in Perham, and they do a great job hosting too.
How well did you play, you thought, on Wednesday night?
Well, initially, and we knew it going in, but it's hard to simulate it. Breckenridge is so physical. Like, they came and just smacked us in the mouth to start the game, and we actually called timeout. I think we were down 7-0 and maybe 14-4 or something like that. But once we adjusted to the physicality of the game and realizing that this is the way it's going to play out, I thought our guys did much better, and we made a good push there toward the end of the first half, and then just kind of were able to slowly increase that margin down the stretch.
All right, so now we talked when you were on the show last month about how the season was going. You guys were rolling. Now here you are on the doorstep of going back to state. Just inherently there's pressure because it's a section championship game, but also you haven't lost a game. Have the guys talked about that at all? Have you addressed it, or is it just go unsaid?
Yeah. No, we've talked about it. And we told the kids too, when we talked about goals at the beginning of the season, being undefeated was never one of those goals. And honestly, I would have never dreamed that we would be undefeated. We scheduled some games knowing that, we're probably going to get beat a couple times against some bigger schools, and we played well in those games. So I don't think, section finals enough pressure as it is. Being undefeated, I think, is sort of irrelevant. And we talked about too, when you get into March and playoff basketball, what you did in the regular season is irrelevant, and you kind of got to start over on a level playing field with everyone else.
How has it felt, though? I know it was one thing after you guys won the state championship that there's the quote-unquote the bullseye, the target. Have they felt that this year as the season's gone along? You've been ranked number one, that, hey, everybody's going to give you guys their best shot every night? Yeah,
I think so. I think we do get everyone's best shot, and I know it kind of goes with the territory. You get people really cheering against you sometimes because they're tired of you, and I certainly get that. But we're not going to apologize for winning, I guess. So we'll just got to find a way in March, and hopefully we can find a way one more time.
So you played Park way back in the middle of January. Is there anything you can take from that game, or it's almost 2 full months ago?
It is, yeah, and I don't think there's a whole lot you can glean from that. Obviously we're familiar with them and them with us, and we have a lot of respect for them, and they're tough. We played them last year earlier in I don't remember what round exactly, but we've run into them quite a bit in playoff basketball, and they're really well coached, and they're guard heavy like we are, so the matchup is pretty similar, and it's going to be a really tough battle, and obviously a great win for them the other night. But we know that every game in 6A is going to be a war, so we're preparing for that tonight.
We showed it yesterday, Randy, how they won. How much is that a momentum that they wanted the buzzer to beat Pelican to take into a game like tonight? Are they playing with house money? Because I think maybe a lot of people thought Pelican Rapids was going to be your opponent tonight.
Yeah, there might be something to that. We stayed through, they were the second game. We stayed through halftime, and then we just decided we wanted to get our kids home and get them to bed. But we got back, we watched it the whole way on the bus ride, and then we got back to Henning and saw the last couple minutes. We had it pulled up on in someone's classroom watching the end of it. So yeah, great win for them, and heartbreaker for Pelican, obviously, but that's what March is all about. You just, so many games go down to that last possession, and it's probably going to be one of those again tonight.
I'll ask the typical reporter question, is a quick start necessary in a game like tonight? I know you didn't have one the other night.
Yeah. You always say that, but we've been on both ends of that, where we've started quickly and then we kind of, lose some momentum, and then the other night we started poorly and got the momentum back. So I think in any game, you want to start quickly, but it just ebbs and flows so much. And when you play quality teams, there's going to be runs by both teams, and you just got to stick together and kind of, try to maintain that even keel and move on to the next possession.
I know how much the town is bound with your team and connected, especially after what happened 7 years ago. How tight is this, knowing the community is so behind you guys and wants to see you win? Is it add pressure? Do you welcome that? What is that like, knowing there's so many people that's supporting you and want to see you win tonight?
Yeah, I don't think it adds pressure. I mean, the kids know they've got so many people pulling for them, and going back to what happened, with Jacob. I mean, that's now. I think Jacob died April. I mean, I've the dates in my mind forever. April 13th, 2017 was the day he died. And his mom texted me after the game the other night. She's watching and pulling for us. So it's cool to know that his family's still out there and they're a big part of this community and connected to a lot of people. And his locker still has his shoes in it and his nameplate on it in our locker room. So that's a constant memory for our kids, but it's a good reminder too for what's really important. And it's not always a game of basketball.
Going through this for your guys that were in this game last year, because that experience you can count on, that they know exactly what this environment they're walking into tonight?
Yeah, and I think it certainly helps. They were all there, and even though a lot of them didn't play a whole bunch of minutes, in fact, I think the only kids that even got in the flow of the game until the end were Kale and Ryan Despard last year. That was it, and the rest of those guys were on the bench, but they were playing primarily JV. So that's what makes this even more special is we're playing a bunch of guys who weren't really in the rotation last year. So they've been around and they've seen it, which I think is huge, and they've been part of it, and they practice against those guys the last couple of years. So I think it definitely helps being there more and more.
What is it about being back at Concordia tonight that makes it special as well? That old gym, it gets loud. It doesn't take much to get loud in there. The band's in there, really gets cranking. What is it about that place that just makes it such a great environment for basketball?
Yeah, I don't know if I can put a finger on it, but it's unlike anything else. And it's, we played there when we played Pelican in whatever it was, December. But obviously then it's not really that full. No. And, we had our crowd there, but tonight's going to be rocking and just so much fun and walk in there. And tonight the theme for Henning is orange out. So you'll see, the orange. I've got people today texting me looking for an orange shirt, and, we'll try to hook people up as best we can, get them some orange. But, it's just, I tell our kids all the time, we talked about the last time I was on, I think you're never going to play in atmospheres and environments like this ever. So enjoy it. And, I think sometimes we have to step back and remind ourselves that it's supposed to be fun too. So take it all in and enjoy it at the same time.
Are you telling me there's people in Henning that don't have any orange attire? I can't believe that for a second.
Well, these are mostly out-of-towners who are they jumped on the bandwagon, and I think most of the Henning people do, but now it's, somebody's uncle or, friend of a friend type of people that's looking for an orange shirt. And we'll do everything we can to accommodate them. So the more orange we see tonight, the better. You've
coached in a lot of big games. I've seen state championship games. Are there nerves for you tonight, or is this just, this is the next game?
No, there's always nerves. And I think if that ever goes away for me, it's probably time to be done. It's no matter who you play, it doesn't matter if we're playing a regular season game in December or a game to go to state. There's a few butterflies, and once the ball goes up, that's kind of done for me at least, and I think for most of the kids the same way. But there's always nerves for me, and I think you don't get that feeling all the time. But so for me, it's one of those things that there's nerves, but once the ball goes up and we tip, then we just play the game.
Knowing full well what's at stake, whoever wins, it's a little different because obviously the state tournament isn't next week, which is I don't know if you've even got your thoughts on there yet, but that's a 10-day break before you would play a game if you're able to win tonight.
Yeah, it's weird, and I don't know who messed up, but somebody messed up. I feel like, but. Hopefully that's something we have to deal with, and that's a problem. Yeah. And then we'll deal with that next week and how we handle next week. And I was telling my assistant coach, on top of everything else, I got summoned for jury duty next Tuesday. So I guess I'll go to the Otter Tail County Courthouse and see how that plays out too. But hopefully that's an issue where we've got a lot of things going, and we'll kind of navigate that as we move forward.
That's fantastic. Well, you know what? You might have some time off. That if you win, you be able to do both, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how good of an excuse jury duty, or coaching basketball is for a juror, but maybe that'll get me out of something. I don't know.
We got it on TV now, so you're not making it up. So if you need it, we can send you the tape if you need it to send it down. I was curious as well before Pelican won. I was like, what is going to happen if it's Henning and Pelican in this game? That's so much orange and black. Who's going to be who?
Yeah, it would have been interesting. And we saw that a little bit last year because they played the 8AA game after us. And as they came in, there was a lot of orange and black in that Concordia Memorial Auditorium. But, it would have been crazy. But hopefully, our fans will show up tonight, I know. And, everyone's excited. We're letting out of school a little bit early, so we give everyone enough time to get up there, and it'll be a fun night.
My last thing for you, and I really appreciate the time, just the level of basketball around your neck of the woods. Perham, Staples is really good. Yourselves, just this year, did you see that collectively, that there was an opportunity that around your neck of the woods on Highway 10, that there was potential for teams to be really, really good this year?
Yeah, we do, especially with Perham, we end up doing a lot of youth things with Perham. And obviously I've known Coach Crescent for a long time, and now Grant Durkheising over there. And I know the Perham assistants really well, Arlie Ohm and Gary Gruey are over there, and they've got more wins as assistant coaches over there than most head coaches have in their whole life. So, we've seen the level of basketball. We did some summer things, some camp stuff with the Staples crew. So, we've seen those guys a lot, and there's a lot of really good basketball players, and you kind of run into some connections through our AAU experiences and things too. Last night at our house, we had on Fergus Falls and Sartell. And at the same time we had Alexandria and Elk River, and we know kids and families from all of those schools. So it's just fun to follow at this time of year.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. I'll see you tonight at Concordia, okay?
All right, sounds good, Dom. Thanks so much.
Randy Misegades joining us, head coach of the Henning Hornets, the #1 team in Class A basketball in the state of Minnesota, unbeaten. And they will take that mark into the game tonight against Park Christian, a perfect 29-0, trying to go to 30-0 against a Park Christian team that's had a great year, 24-6, led by the Geese brothers, who have been fantastic this season. Their dad is the head coach. Looking forward to calling that one tonight. 6 o'clock, join us on WDAY2. You can stream it on WDAY+. I've been told one Kevin Wallivan's going to be in attendance, so it's a big deal if Kev's going to be there, and it should be a dynamite night. So, one of the first things I got to do live play-by-play-wise when I started at WDAY was when we did the 8AA tournament. We used to do the quarterfinals and the semis and the championship way back in the day. And how big we treated it was as big as we treat Bison football. And that was my first introduction to what those games were like over at Concordia. And so this is I've done this my 7th or 8th time calling the 8AA championship. I've done it the last 3 years, and looking forward to tonight. It's an exciting night, and someone's going to state. And that's the fun part about it. And we'll see what happens coming up later tonight. That game first, then the 8AA game with Perham and Staples Motley to follow at about 8 o'clock. All right, we're due for a break. Let's get it in now, because I haven't done it. I have my birthday wishes for 2026. We got to get that in our final 35 minutes here on this Friday morning. We're back right after this. All right, welcome back. All right, thanks to Randy Misegades for giving us a few minutes there. Henning coming up tonight with its matchup against Park Christian. Looking forward to that. We'll get a few more emails in before we go. I was just watching a little video on Twitter that the State High School League put out from Minnesota yesterday. Sleepy Eye, which is Class A school, won in its quarterfinal game. They're moving on to the semifinals. Their standout player is one Morgan Mathowitz, who is the younger sister of Maddie Mathowitz, the outstanding player for South Dakota State. Morgan, we had on the show this summer, has verbally committed to play for the Bison women, and Jory Collins, part of the class of 2027. So she's not coming next year. She's just wrapping up her sophomore year here. dynamite player or junior year, excuse me, for Sleepy Eye. So if you're watching today, you can have multiple things going on. That we're in that day and age, you can have your television on one thing, tablet on another, phone even on another. If you're doing March properly, that's what you're doing. You got to have 3 separate games going. Heck, 4 at sometimes. That's the deal. Okay, I waited long enough here to make it about me. The show has my name in it. Is sources indicating today is my birthday. And routinely, if I've done the show on my birthday, I have done my birthday wishes, something I'd like to see happen for the upcoming year. Now, some of these are going to be automatic. If you know me at all and watch the show, you know probably where I'm going. A couple others are going to be off the beaten path. I'm just going to warn you right now. Now, number 1 is an obvious one. We're on the doorstep of the baseball season. So that means for birthday wish number 1, that the Mets make the playoffs in 2026. You all experienced with me last fall what in God's name happened to that baseball team that blew the National League East lead, then it couldn't even make the playoffs. They've totally retooled the roster. We got Pete Alonso is gone. Edwin Diaz is gone. Brandon Nimmo is gone. Can we do it this year? If anything, can we at least beat the Braves in 2026? It was fun to see Atlanta be bad last year. And the Phillies, if possible. Number 2 seems like a pipe dream, but it's my birthday. So I'm going to close my eyes and wish that the New York Football Jets win more than 6 games in 2026. I'm here to remind you that the Jets have the longest playoff drought in all of the 4 major sports. Not just the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball. The Jets haven't made the postseason since 2010. 2010! Let me do some quick math. I was 31! Oh my gosh. I had a full head of hair, no gray, I can tell you that. Mark Sanchez was our quarterback. And there's a statement, considering what's going on with him right now. Ben's telling me you're 9? My God. There's another. It makes me feel great. Can we do it? I don't know. That one seems like even more crazy than the last 2. Number 3, and I say this knowing full well we got some weather coming our way. Hopefully it's not enough for the plow to come. But anybody who knows this, where I live, our house is right on the corner of the street. So could please the plow stop piling snow on the driveway. I'm fairly confident Moorhead Parks Department watches Hot Mike. And they're not thrilled with me because every time they come by and they're smiling and it's like the Berlin Wall goes at the bottom of the driveway. Could we do that, please? For 2026 and beyond to the winter of 2027? That would be lovely. Or whatever we have left of winter here in March of 2026 or even April. That would be lovely. Last, and this is a total pipe dream. For those that know my candy rankings, which we do every Halloween, which have gotten rave reviews, some disagree, but they don't know what they're talking about. People also know my affinity for watermelon Jolly Ranchers. My wife got them for me for Valentine's Day this year, which was fantastic. I actually still have them, which is self-restraint. I actually have one right here in the office, right in the set today, that I haven't got to yet. The strawberry watermelon Gatorade is elite. And I know what you're saying, like, well, what about fruit punch, which is great, orange is good, lemon lime is great. Even, I'll give you the Glacier Freeze, which is the blue one. But the strawberry watermelon Gatorade doesn't exist anymore. I drove Jack around town. We went to 9 different locations between Fargo and Moorhead. It's apparently vanished. If you go on the website, gone. Now, I've tried others. Like Powerade has some sort of knockoff. It's not as good. Even Body Armor has something. I tried that. It's okay. It's not like the original. Can we somehow bring this back? Was I the only one that drank it, apparently? Because it was fantastic. And it's got to be both. It's not watermelon and it's not strawberry, it's on its own. It's together. And it's not pink lemonade. I don't want that. That's fine. It's not what I'm talking about. So for the people at Gatorade, if you watch the show, we had the Crunch people watch us a few years ago. People at Little Debbie watch this. We obviously got everybody fired up about that earlier in the week. I'm telling you right now, it's like I'm 10 years old. If I had zebra cakes and strawberry watermelon Gatorade, call it good. I'm done for the night. We're all set. Those are the birthday wishes for 2026. If anything happens, if we get 1 out of 4, I'll take it. 2, we're living well. Anything beyond that, it's like we're over the moon for this upcoming year. So we'll see. All right, we'll break. We come back. Really special guest to wrap up our show. My mom will join us. First time. Been doing this show for 6.5 years. She will join us when Hot Mike returns on this Friday morning on the 13th of March after this. Welcome back, everybody, here on a Friday morning edition. Boy, my sister sent me a couple of oldies and goodies. That is from Jellystone Park. I don't even remember this photo, and that's my mom, my grandma, myself in the studio. I think that was right after the Jackman was born. I've had everybody of my immediate family on. My sister's been on to fill in. Everybody knows my dad. Nobody knows my mom, Judy. And 47 years ago today, she became a mom. It's my birthday, and why not have my mom on this morning? How's it going, Mom? How are you?
It's good. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So, okay, let's test the memory. March 13th, 1979. What do you remember?
Yeah. 2:20 a.m. you were born. I just said that to your grandmother. It was 9 hours ago on that day that you were born.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you, evidently, from what I've heard, you were there for a while?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. 19 hours. Thank you.
Holy cow.
Compared to your sister's 30 minutes or less.
Well, apparently, like my son, I wasn't ready to go, apparently. So that was...
That's correct.
That was the case. All right, so give us the back, because I don't know this, and I'm sure people at home are going to love to hear it. Did I cry a lot? What's the deal? Was I a pain in the butt?
No.
A baby or what?
No. No. You slept all night at a month old.
There we go.
You never cried. Nope. Nope. But as I said, your sister made up for it. So, but no, you didn't. You weren't a crier. You were a wonderful child. You really were.
So she's supposed to say that because she's my mom.
That's not
accurate.
I don't.
I don't know if I've asked this story. I certainly haven't asked Dad. When you found out you were pregnant? What do you remember?
Oh my goodness. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And then, because he was just starting a new job,
yep.
And we decided it was time. And because we had been married, I think almost 3 years, yeah. And decided, yep. And so then they said, oh, yep, you are. It was like, first thing we went and told his brother, Uncle Boo.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. And then we told Grandpa.
Yeah.
And the rest was history. And then, I just said in the waiting room that night, I just said to Grandma, there was 25 people waiting for you to be born. Yeah.
Holy cow.
And then they made them all go home because you didn't arrive till 2:20.
See, that's funny because there was about 25 people in the room after Jack was born, including Kevin Wallivan was here for the news, and we had a bunch
Yes.
we had a parade of people that were here when my son was born. So
Absolutely.
that
It's a
seems
big
fitting.
deal.
All right, so I think people understand this is what I've wanted to do since I was a kid, but I've kept everybody up in the house. So you have best story of me broadcasting when I was a kid in the house. You can definitely embarrass me on that. Go for it.
Well, the funny part is when I used to use a block to be your microphone, and your sister used to sneak in, open the door,
Yes.
and used to put it down and tell her get out.
Yes.
And I used to go in and quietly watch, and I said, you were doing it just like you were sitting behind the desk. And you started doing this like you're 6 or 7 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And so you wouldn't do it for Grandma and Pop when they used to come visit. So Graham said, you can't do it with a bag over your head. So
I don't remember that.
They said it was just some the VCR tapes, the piles and piles of them, the oh my God. Just your K to now.
They're still here. They're actually here at the station. I actually have a pile of them here because I couldn't keep them at home anymore. So I brought them to the station. So
of course.
Some of them are here that I left New York with. I've embarrassed Dad with this story, so you could tell maybe better of getting the TV because he would wake everybody up in the house. Can you want to tell your perspective on that?
When he would be screaming at the TV and wake you up?
Yes.
Yes. I threatened to get him earphones or send him outside in the garage with the TV set. But I don't know if that gave your enjoyment of sports or what it is, but you both, other than NASCAR, I think you both enjoy every sport.
He doesn't like hockey. He doesn't like hockey. I've tried to force him on that. Hockey's not his jam. That's not his thing.
There's a story that I could tell about you trying to get ice skates on.
Go for it.
Oh, well, he said, Mom, did you ever try to put skates on me? Are you kidding? He's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you're out. But I tried desperately, and here he turns around and loves the sport.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you do.
I still love watching it. I don't watch it nearly as much as I used to, but yes, very much so. That was.
I'm grateful for the red puck, so I can find
it. Okay, so I did basketball. I did baseball growing up. I didn't do anything else, right, sports wise, in terms of playing.
No.
Yeah.
No. You played golf. But
yes, I did.
Yeah.
I tried out for the golf team, and you want to tell that story, how that ended up?
What?
When I tried out for the golf team, do you remember this?
Oh, the wind that day?
No, well, that was bad. It was, but I was so frustrated, I broke the bottom of the golf bag out. It was plastic.
Oh, yes.
And I was so mad, I swung my club and broke the bottom of it out that I had to carry my clubs like this so they wouldn't slide out of the bottom.
That is true story. He doesn't really have a fondness for it anymore.
I love the game. I don't get a chance to play it nearly as much anymore, but I love
I know.
I love to play it. Now, I have to tell a quick story. I don't know if you know this, but every time when I was still anchoring the sports every night and you would watch, you would ask me, why are you wearing the same suit? And I would tell you, it's not the same suit. It's blue. It's not black, or there's a hint of stripes in it. Do you remember doing that?
Yes.
It's hard to tell on the internet. I get it. On the computer screen or on your phone, it's hard to tell.
Yes, and I said, do you have like the other kid? Do you wear like jeans under there? Do you have shorts on?
No, couldn't do that. No.
No,
that's not.
But yes, I
allowed.
did think it was the same suit. Yes.
So I don't know. I've asked this story when I called you and told you that Fargo WDAY had offered me a job. What do you remember when I told you that?
I remembered saying, and I still remember today, you have to go where they want you. So you have to. Isn't that correct, Dominic?
Yeah.
And I said that they showed big interest, and you need to go and just try it out. You have to go.
Well. And I remember telling you specifically, because I know it was hard, that the jobs are everywhere. I'm going to take me places I never thought, which it has. I've hit almost all the continental U.S., which is crazy. But that's part of the gig. And I know at least I understood it. I don't know if everybody back home understood that was the deal.
It's like, would the East Coast have been great? Yeah. But, I mean, you've been there 20 years.
Yeah.
And what?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it's 20 years in September it will be. So
you're as happy today as you were when you got there.
Yeah.
And you've done nothing but go up. I mean, this show is remarkable. I mean, we watch it when Mom remembers. Got to be honest. Dad keys me in. It's 11:30, but and we've been out there, and it's such an awesome place, growing, constantly growing. But we couldn't be prouder of your decision. And I mean, do we miss you? Of course. I mean, you thankfully come home and bring your wife and my grandson. That we get to see Court and Jack. But it's done nothing but great things for you.
It's been amazing, and you know,
been a good ride, Bob.
Dad is the star, but I will tell you, my mom is the reason I got out of high school. The reason that I was able to graduate, and main reason that she pushed me to know what I could do. And I don't know, I'm going to do it on air. I want to thank you for that, and I love you, and just to know that I always remember it. Even if I don't acknowledge it as often as I should, know that I will never forget it, and I owe you, because if not, none of this would have happened. So I love you, and I want you to know that, okay?
Make me cry.
Don't cry.
I was determined, as you were and are, and you're very welcome.
Needed a kick in the butt. That's what I needed. So, and Judy gave that to me a couple times over, and it was well earned. I will say that. So, what do you got planned today?
Well, you know what? We are just got to get Sophie off the bus.
Okay, it's my niece, and then people know Soph. She's been on the show too. So there you go.
Oh, geez, she beat me to the show.
Yeah, I know.
And she loves it.
I'm well aware.
We were going to the have fish dinner, but the Lighthouse Lanes there, the bowling alley, but they've got the Bud Bowl going on. So
okay.
I'll just grab a nice some fish because it's Friday and
it is. Last thing before we go, did you stay that night? How long did you stay in the hospital after I was born? Did you go home the next day? Because you already been there for 2 days.
No. I went home on Friday.
Okay, so a couple days
because I was there
stuff.
Monday.
Yeah,
and I had you Tuesday morning, and they kept me till Friday. Yes.
That's a long. I thought we were at the hospital for a long stay. Holy cow, that's a long time. All right.
All right.
No, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, I don't remember how long was Court in there.
We were there. We got in Sunday. We left Thursday. So we were
about the same time.
We were
then,
a long time.
Yep.
We were there, no doubt. So.
Yep.
All right, I love you. Thanks so much for doing this morning, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks for
Okay?
having me.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay, love you. Bye.
I love you too. There she goes. My mom joining us here this morning to wrap up the show in style. That was great. And everyone has had a chance to meet my dad, which he's become a superstar for his weekly appearances on the show. Thought who better to have on to wrap up than my mom on my birthday. Awesome. All right, let's take our final break. We come back. We got a lot to get to tell you about this weekend. It is a packed sports weekend. We'll do that when Hot Mike wraps on the 13th day of March, Friday the 13th. Back after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a Friday morning. You're looking live inside the Event Center in Bismarck. Shoot around underway. First game comes up in just about 2 hours. We'll be on the air on WDAY with Minot and Mandan to start things on a busy day out in Bismarck. I have spent many a birthday in Bismarck doing that exact tournament, so kudos to our crew. You'll hear from Ryan McNamara and Lynette Johnson. We'll have the women's call with our guy Sammy G and Zach Dosh calling the boys' games tonight. I'll be spending my birthday in a gym as well. I'll be over at Concordia tonight for the 8AA and 6A championship games to send teams off to state. We'll do that coming up later tonight. Email comes in. Dom, I watched Rosemount and Rochester Mayo last night. That was in the girls' 4A semifinals. It was a horse race with cold-blooded shooters down to the wire. It was a great game. The future shines bright for Minnesota girls basketball and college-level recruiting. Couldn't say it better myself. It was I caught a little bit of that as well last night, and it was entertaining. It was fantastic. The players are excellent. Just another reminder of what we get a chance to witness. And if you have a time today, again, I said it yesterday. It might be a hot I firmly believe these 2 days, yesterday and today, are the best 2 days we have on the sports calendar. We have games going on all day. We have games already started. Games are coming up after we're done, and are going to go all the way to about midnight. It's fantastic. And whether it's high school or college, it's just the best time. Best time of what's going on right now. We are going to be preempting programming tonight and today on WDAY. So if you're looking for your favorite shows that are airing tonight, that'll be on later. If you set them on your DVR, normally they adjust for that. That'll be on in the middle of the night. So you can do that. I did get an answer. I looked it up during the commercial break because I'm a nerd like that. The last time, going back to the Bison bracketology deal, that NDSU right now is seeded 14th and playing Illinois. I forgot this because I was trying to eliminate everything about this season. The last time the Bison played a Big Ten opponent was November the 28th of 2020. That was the COVID year where we didn't start playing basketball till right around Thanksgiving. If I bring this up to Dave Richmond, he'll have a great story about it because NDSU literally was scheduling games like 2 days out. They played Nebraska in Lincoln and lost by 2, 59-57. They nearly beat the Huskers that day. That was Grant Nelson's second collegiate game. They ended up playing Creighton and Kansas as well, if I remember correctly. That was such an odd time. They played 3 games in Sioux Falls at the Pentagon against USD, SDSU, and UND because they were just trying to get games. Such an odd time. But that's the last time that they played a team out of the Big Ten Conference. And we will find out on Sunday night. Selection show is at 5 on CBS. I believe Adam Zucker is hosting it. He's really good. With the late, great Greg Gumbel no longer obviously with us. Ernie Johnson is stepping back from his hosting role, so we won't see him until the Final Four. So Adam Zucker will be the host for that. I'm hopeful there's a big crowd that comes up to the Shack. This is a big deal, folks, and I wrote about it yesterday. This is the only event, and we talked about it with Dave when he was here on the show on Tuesday, that gathers around to watch something like this. It's basically seeing your team's name up on a screen and reacting to it. Nothing like this happens in anything professional sports like this. This is it. And come 8 o'clock Sunday night, people will start filling out their brackets and invariably wondering, what's North Dakota State? And they pronounce it Bison? It's not Bison? That's how they go with it? That's the unique and the fun part about what this event holds. And it all starts basically Sunday night at 5 o'clock. We'll find out when, where, and who the Bison will be playing in the NCAA basketball tournament. Next week's going to be crazy. Looking forward to that. Can't wait to get it started. But first, let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch brought to us by our great friends at Northwestern Mutual. Okay, don't forget, today we've got the 2A basketball tournament restarts at 1 o'clock. Coverage begins on WDAY statewide for your games. You can find them everywhere. The girls' semis at 1 and 3. That'll be followed by the boys' semis at 6:30 and about 8:15. Also tonight, we've got from Concordia the 6A championship game and the 8AA championship game. Henning and Park Christian, followed by Perham and Staples Motley. Those games are available on WDAY2 if you want to watch those coming up tonight. Also going on, the World Baseball Classic resumes. The United States will play Canada coming up tonight. This is win or go home now. Quarterfinals, 7 o'clock on Fox. The Wolves play the Warriors tonight, 9 o'clock on Amazon Prime, and a really good Iowa State could be a Bison opponent. They play Arizona in the Big 12 tournament, 6 o'clock today on ESPN. Tomorrow, don't forget, State Qualifier Day from the Shack. We'll bring you all 4 games starting at 1 o'clock. Those games available on WDAY Plus to stream to watch those games from the Shack coming up tomorrow. Also tomorrow, UND hockey team will play against Duluth in the NCHC semis, 6 o'clock on Midco. The selection show, as I remember, Saturday, 5 o'clock on CBS. And the Wolves have the Thunder. That's coming up at noon on WDAY on Sunday. That'll wrap up a busy week for us. Thanks, of course, to my mom, to Randy Misegades, and to Matt Veit for joining us. Thanks so much for spending part of your week with us. Thanks so much for the birthday wishes as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday.